Hello, friends. My name is Sally, and I used to be able to convince anyone that I was right. No matter what I said, everyone believed me implicitly. Such a gift came to me completely unexpectedly, and I loved to use it. However, it soon began to bring me continuous trouble. But I'll start the story from my 17th birthday, when my beloved grandma gave me her engagement ring. She said that I must cherish and love this ring. It was a very valuable gift. And I promised that I would not part with this jewelry. I knew how my grandmother treasured this ring because she almost never took it off her fingers. Even after grandfather's death, she continued to wear the jewel as a memory of him. To be honest, since childhood, I dreamed about these ringlets and constantly asked my grandmother to let me try it on. With a smile, she jokingly said that the ring was enchanted, and I always took it for the truth. In general, I was so close to my grandmother that I believed absolutely everything that she told me. And sometimes it turned into comical stories. For example, when I was already 12 years old, I stopped believing in fairy tales. My grandmother said that in her garden there were leprechauns who hid their pots of gold under the ground. She said that I should quickly find them, otherwise the evil elves will be the first to get the treasure. Any other person would just laugh about it, but not me. When I heard about this, I ran to my friends and began to tell this incredible story about the elves and the leprechauns. With a burning look, I convinced them that the gold we found, we could do anything by ourselves. The guys just laughed, calling me funny. Then I decided to look for pots of gold on my own. I spent hours digging holes in the garden. When my grandmother was returning home from a neighbor, she saw me covered in dirt and tears and asked what had happened. After telling her I could not find the treasure, Granny only laughed and admitted that she was just joking. For some reason, I wasn't even mad at her, and now I remember this story with a laugh. Granny was so sincere that absolutely everyone trusted her. No matter what she said, people immediately agreed with it. At first, I thought she was just a very wise woman who had lived a long life and knew a lot of things, but I soon began to realize that I no longer believed my grandmother so much. After my birthday, I tried on a dress that my aunt gave me. It was an awful brown color, but Grandma said it looked good on me. It was the first time I didn't agree with her. On the same day, I was surprised to see that even my parents disagreed with her and started arguing. I didn't think much of it until I started seeing strange things around me. Now, all my friends, classmates, and even my parents always agreed with me. I was honest with them most of the time, but they believed even outright lies. Then I had the idea that this gift of persuasion had somehow magically passed on to me from my grandmother. I was incredibly happy about it because I could use it in any situation. And then, one day, I was late for a lesson with a very strict teacher who most of all appreciated punctuality. With difficulty restraining his displeasure, he asked for the reason for the delay. And I lied that on the way here, a stray dog grabbed my bag and I had to chase after it to get my things back. Well, who can believe such nonsense? However, the teacher believed me and anxiously asked if I was all right. At that moment, I thought I needed to test my abilities and take them to the next level. Just for fun, I told my classmates that I won $1 million in the lottery yesterday, and they believed me. The guys began to congratulate me and ask where I would spend so much money. I decided not to torture them and just said I was joking. And at that moment, I thought that if they believed such nonsense, then other people would believe me too. And to make sure of this, I decided to go to the most expensive restaurant in our city and eat in it for free. I ordered the best food and drinks, and when the waiter brought me the bill, I convinced him that I was the owner's daughter and had the right not to pay for dinner. The guy just smiled at me, sweetly apologized, and wished me a good evening. And I hurried to get out of there as so not to get caught in my insolent lies. Do you think I stopped there? Not a bit. I've always wanted to attend one social event that was held in Seattle every year. Only the children of wealthy parents could get there because the entrance price was incredibly high. But I only had to lie that I was the granddaughter of our mayor who accidentally forgot her wallet, and the guard immediately believed me and let me in. However, I got in trouble at this reception when a girl came up to me and said she had never seen me here before. I lied again about being the mayor's granddaughter. After my words, the girl was very surprised and exclaimed that she was also the mayor's granddaughter. She immediately went to find him, and taking advantage of this moment, I ran away from there. I was lucky that I didn't get caught, otherwise there would have been a real scandal. I decided that I wouldn't lie so seriously anymore, but my little lie eventually led to big problems. The next evening, I went to the cinema with a check from the store. Once I had already managed to convince the controller that this isn't a check, but a real ticket, and they let me through without any problems. But this time, something went wrong. I literally poked my check in the face of the controller, saying that it was a ticket. But she looked at me like I was a complete idiot. At first, she calmly told me to step back and let people pass, but I wasn't going to give up. However, then the controller called the administrator who took me into her office. Even there, I kept saying that it wasn't a check, but a ticket I had bought. But the administrator didn't believe me. Then I threatened I would tell everything to my grandfather, who was the mayor of the city. But the woman replied that I had better leave before she called the police. I didn't want any trouble with the police, so I left burning with anger. But soon I began to worry. Why my lie worked before but not today? What did I do wrong when I came home? Very sad. I noticed that I had forgotten to put on my ring today. I suddenly felt ashamed because I had promised my grandmother to not take it off. I put the ring on my finger and decided to help my mother with dinner. She asked me why I was so sad, and I replied that I was fine. Usually when my mother saw me in this state, she always tried to get to the bottom of the truth. And now she immediately believed me, and then it hit me. I looked at the ring and realized that the power of persuasion lies in it. It even has a symbolic engraving with the word verite tous. Probably for this reason, everyone used to believe my grandmother, but now they believe me. Now this ring has become even more precious to me. I always tried to wear it on my finger because only then could I use this gift. But unfortunately, the jewelry was soon lost. I don't even know how it happened. I was just sitting on the bus next to a man in a black suit. He was reading a nondescript little book called SCP and writing something down in it. When I got off the bus, the ring was gone. I don't think anyone could have stolen it because I would have felt it for sure. I thought that perhaps it had fallen off my finger. Even before I got on the bus and examined every meter of the stop. And then I searched the entire area, but the ring was never found. I was very upset because of the loss of the jewelry, and I was also ashamed in front of my grandmother because I could not save her ring. To my surprise, she didn't get mad at me, but simply asked me to be more attentive in the future. Perhaps this is even for the best, because when a person has some unusual power, he loses control of himself and begins to use it randomly. I'm lucky I didn't get into big trouble with this ring. What would you do if you had such a ring? Write your answers in the comments. Click on the thumbs up button under the video and share it with your friends.